It's 14:37 local time, the 22nd of October 2025. Over the Scarborough Shoal, radar alarms echo through the steel corridors of the USS Preble. The crew scrambles, screens light up with strange blips circling near the lagoon's entrance. Outside, the massive shadow of the USS Nimitz drifts steady, deck crew rushing to secure aircraft. Through binoculars, sailors spot something new on the water, a long, dark floating barrier, stretching across the reef like a trap. Sensors flicker, cameras zoom. No warning, no radio call. Suddenly, two China Coast Guard vessels, CCG 5203 and CCG 3305, move in, forming a wall between the Americans and the shoal. Orders cut through the noise. Maintain position, do not provoke. The air is thick, engines humming, each side waiting for the other to flinch. High above, a Pate Ampere's Poseidon circles, its lenses capturing every 10 seconds. On open channels, Philippine voices crackle fishermen calling for help, trapped outside their own waters. The standoff has begun, and nobody's backing down. The Scarborough Shoal lies inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, but China calls it Huangyan Island. For years, both sides have circled this shallow reef, sometimes with words, sometimes with ships. But now, something new blocks the lagoon. A composite floating barrier, anchored with steel cables and packed with sensors humming beneath the waves. From orbit, Sky-Fi and Satellogic satellites first spotted it, a black line curling across turquoise water. Within hours, images went viral. The USS Nimitz carrier group, already nearby for routine operations, suddenly had a new task: observe and report. Manila demanded the barrier's removal, calling it an illegal blockade. Beijing replied it was a defensive installation to protect sovereignty. Each side accuses the other of provocation. Filipino fishermen say they can't reach their grounds. American analysts warn this gray zone tactic bends international law slowly, deliberately, without a shot. The barrier isn't just plastic and steel, it's a message. Who really controls the sea? Below deck, USS Preble officers watch the feed in tense silence. Nearby, BRP Gregorio del Pilar and BRP Cabra hold position, hailing the China Coast Guard and getting only curt replies. Rain clouds drift in, radar clutter jumps, and tempers rise with the waves. The hotline stays quiet, no one wants to blink first. For Washington and Manila, the stakes run beyond a reef. Shipping lanes, insurance rates, and alliance credibility hang on what happens here. One misread helm order, one snapped tow line, and steel meets steel under 1,000 phone cameras. And if you were here, staring at that line in the water, who would you stand with? Press 1 if you'd hold the line beside the US Navy. Press 9 if you'd warn against pushing the conflict any further. 14:52 local time. The rain lifts, leaving a glassy sea and two lines of ships facing off. On the USS Preble, tension hums through the bridge. Radar shows 3 China Coast Guard vessels, forming a crescent near the lagoon, creeping forward slow, deliberate, daring the Americans to move. Contact bearing 085, closing at 5 knots. The sonar voice is steady, but the captain's jaw tightens. On deck, cameras roll. One wrong move could light the fuse. The floating barrier sways gently, drums clanging in the swell. Beneath it, sensors blink red, tracking every hull in range. Launch drone, the captain orders. A small quad lifts off, its feed streaming to the USS Nimitz. The carrier's air wing stands by fighters armed, but held. For now, it's an information war. Over open channels, a Chinese voice crackles, "Unidentified warship. You are entering Chinese waters. Leave immediately." The American reply is calm, practiced. "This area lies within international waters. We will continue lawful navigation." Nearby, BRP Gregorio del Pilar edges closer, her crew signaling to Filipino fishing boats watching from afar. Every eye waits for the next move. The CCG 5203 inches forward again, scraping the barrier too close. Alarms chirp. The drone feed shows splintered floats and leaking water. The Chinese ship halts, loudspeakers blaring, engines churning foam. "Hold course," the captain says. Record everything. Every pixel will matter later in Washington or The Hague. But for the sailors, it's about the next gust, the next shove from the sea. The 8 amperes Poseidon above drops a flare to mark distance, standard procedure. Yet every flash feels like a spark over fuel. No missiles, no shots, just steel and pride grinding over an invisible line. A squall builds on the horizon. Preble steadies at 5 knots, bow angled off the barrier. On CCG 305, a grapnel dips, then stops. The Nimitz relays a calm ROE reminder. From the Philippine frigate, a loudspeaker cuts through static. "You are inside our EEZ." Silence answers. Far astern, Filipino boats bob in the swell, phones raised like periscopes. Overhead, satellites blink their cold approval, every angle archived. The sea hisses against metal. No one speaks. Rudders twitch by millimeters. Waiting becomes its own kind of combat. 15:06 local time. The sea has turned restless, winds snapping across the reef. Waves slap the sides of the USS Preble, spray flying over the bow. The China Coast Guard ships tighten formation, moving closer to the floating barrier, now half submerged and cracking under pressure. "Maintain 500 yards, the captain says. But the CCG 5203 ignores the distance. Its prow cuts the water, closing into less than half that range. Through binoculars, sailors can see crew on deck, helmets on, cameras rolling. On the USS Nimitz, flight ops halt. Jets sit armed, engines warm but idle. A message from Washington flashes across encrypted comms. No escalation without direct provocation. The captain nods. He knows what that means. Hold the line, no matter how close they get. Then the barrier groans, a deep metallic crack echoing across the lagoon. One of the steel anchors snaps loose, drifting toward the Preble's hull. Engines back 1/3. The ship eases away, propellers thrumming. The Chinese vessel matches the move, bow to bow, 20 seconds from impact. The BRP Gregorio del Pilar calls on open channel. "You are endangering navigation." No response, just static and the thud of waves. The Poseidon overhead circles lower, sending real-time imagery to both the carrier and Allied command. On screen, the 2 white hulls look like chess pieces sliding toward checkmate. Captain, CCG 3305 dropping small boats. A watch officer warns. Inflatable craft hit the water. Crew readying lines near the barrier's broken edge. "If they start recovery, we lose evidence," the XO mutters. "Not yet," the captain replies. "We film everything." Minutes stretch thin. Radios crackle. Orders repeat. The barrier drifts between them like a wounded creature, half symbol, half spark. The crew knows one wrong jolt could send steel scraping steel, and there'd be no going back. High above, lightning flashes without thunder, lighting up hulls like ghosts. The ocean roars, louder than the engines. Pride, fear, and duty all mix into one long breath no one dares release. And as these ships edge closer, one question hangs in the storm. Should they stand firm or step back? Press 1 if you'd hold the line beside the US Navy. Press 9 if you'd pull back before the first spark turns into fire. 15:19 local time. Just when both sides seem locked in a silent standoff, a flicker appears on radar. Small, fast, hugging the surface. Multiple contacts, low altitude, inbound. The radar tech reports. The bridge freezes. These aren't ships. They're unmanned surface drones. 6 of them, racing toward the floating barrier. "They're ours?" the XO asks. The answer, negative. No if signals. "They're Chinese," the captain says quietly. The crew rushes to stations as new blips multiply, weaving through the chop like sharks. "Possible recovery units," someone suggests. But the lead drone veers, accelerating toward USS Preble. "That's not recovery," another voice mutters. "That's a charge. Deploy counter-drone jammer." The system roars to life, flooding static across channels. 2 drones wobble, then recover. "They're hardened against jamming," the EW officer warns. Above, the 8 amperes Poseidon circles lower, zooming in. Its feed shows drones towing sonar pods, mapping, scanning, recording. The China Coast Guard ships hold steady, watching. Everyone knows The first side to act loses the moral high ground. The drones close to within 200 yards, then split 3 toward the barrier, 3 toward Preble's bow. Launch RHIB, the captain orders. 2 small boats hit the sea, racing through spray. Waves crash, radios blur, every move recorded. From the drone feed, you can see reflections of sailors bracing for impact. It's no longer about politics or law, it's reflex and survival. The barrier fragments again. One float sinking beneath the weight of this new game. The world's most advanced navy now faces a threat, no bigger than a scooter. Yet one mistake here could ignite the entire sea. 15:27 local time. The storm finally breaks. Sheets of rain blur the horizon as thunder rolls across the reef. The USS Preble pitches in the swell, radar struggling through interference. The drones are now within 100 yards too close for comfort. Rib 1, intercept now! The small boat surges forward, engines screaming. Its crew braces against waves, spray slashing across their helmets. One of the drones cuts left, skimming so close they can see its metal hull scarred and wet. Hook deployed, a sailor shouts, flinging a line across the bow. The hook snags and the drone jerks, spinning wildly before slamming into the barrier with a sharp metallic crack. Impact confirmed. Cheers echo over comms, but relief lasts only seconds. Another drone darts past, slashing under the Preble's bow. The sonar feed flares red contact too near. Full stop! The captain barks. The ship groans, engines reversing hard. A collision alarm blares as the barrier shatters into drifting fragments. At the same moment, CCG-5203 lunges forward, seemingly to shield its own drones, but nearly ramming the US vessel. Sirens erupt across both ships. The Chinese loudspeaker booms through the rain. Unsafe maneuver by foreign warship. The Americans reply in kind. You close first, maintain distance. Through the chaos, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar cuts between them, her hull barely clearing the shattered floats. Filipino voices crackle over the radio. Cease movement, cease movement. Lightning splits the sky, illuminating 3 ships locked in a triangle of tension, each just seconds from disaster. Above, the 8 Ampere's Poseidon streams every frame to command centers half a world away. Down below, sailors hold their breath, hands white on the rails. The sea roars, comms blur, no one blinks. Then, silence. Engines idle, drones drift lifeless, the barrier gone. What remains is raw distance and the heavy sound of rain. The US ship holds her place. The Chinese ships back off. Slowly, deliberately. The storm has burned through without fire, but only just. In moments like this, it's no longer about who's right, it's about who blinks first. Press 1 if you'd stand firm till the very end. Press 9 if you'd pull back before pride sinks steel. 16:10 local time. The storm clears. The sea calms, leaving behind a trail of shattered floats and drifting cables. The USS Preble stands motionless, crew still at stations. Across the water, the China Coast Guard ships pull back, slow and steady, maintaining radio silence. Between them lies nothing but wreckage, the remains of a barrier that never should have been there. Hours later, word spreads fast. In Manila, officials release satellite photos showing the fragments inside Philippine waters, calling it clear proof of obstruction. In Beijing, the foreign ministry declares the incident fabricated provocation. Both statements go viral before sunset. At sea, divers from the BRP Gregorio del Pilar retrieve broken pieces of the barrier fiberglass, steel, embedded transmitters. One piece bears a faint Chinese serial code. It's enough to set off another wave of diplomatic fury. Back aboard the Nimitz, sailors watch the footage replay on the ship's screens. Every angle, every voice, now part of an unfolding narrative, one that neither side can fully control. The captain writes his final log for the day. No weapons fired, no casualties, tension unresolved. In Washington, analysts call it a gray zone victory. China tested the line and the US held it. In Beijing, they call it sovereignty defended. The truth sits somewhere in the waves between. The barrier may be gone, but the invisible one, the line of pride, fear and ambition still cuts through the South China Sea. Insurers quietly raise rates. Fishermen and Zambalis count another day lost. Patrol schedules tighten. Every watch feels a little longer. As night falls, lights flicker across the horizon. The ships drift apart, engines low, but their shadows remain locked together on the water. And maybe that's the real battle now. Not guns or missiles, but stories. Whose version survives the storm? Press 1 if you believe standing firm keeps the peace. Press 9 if you think stepping back is the only way to avoid the next clash. It's 1540 local time, the 10th of October 2025. Over the South China Sea near the Paracels, a U.S. Navy Pate Ampere's Poseidon rides smooth air, then the calm snaps. Two spikes light the scope fast. Aggressive J-11BHs from Hainan. Contact 20 meters, the tacho calls. Vibration deepens as the pilot banks low. Whitecaps whip past the windows. For 12 long seconds, a fire control beam pins the aircraft, cold and steady, the kind that ends careers and lives. The AN divided by ALQ-240 wakes with a hiss. Jammers bite back, turning threats into snow. Comms crackle, then choke. The co-pilot counts down altitude, voice tight but even. Outside, gray shapes slash across the nose, wagging wings like warnings, then cutting closer. One slip, one misread gesture, and metal becomes shrapnel. Inside the cabin, no one moves more than they must. Hands hover over switches. Hearts drum in time with the engines. The next second decides whether this patrol returns home or becomes another brief, sterile line in a report. The South China Sea isn't just blue water on a map, it's the bloodstream of global trade. Every hour, hundreds of ships cross these lanes, carrying fuel, chips, and food that keep the world alive. For the US, patrols like this Pate Amperes aren't provocation, they're proof that freedom of navigation still means something. But to Beijing, each American aircraft is a challenge drawn too close to home. From Fiery Cross Reef to Woody Island, Chinese radar eyes track everything that moves. Their network grows each year, longer runways, farther-reaching missiles, quieter frequencies. The Poseidon's mission today is simple. Fly straight, collect data, and show the flag. But here, simple can turn fatal in seconds. In the cockpit, tension sits thick as smoke. The pilot's voice stays steady. The message from command looping, maintain course, do not engage. Outside, contrails twist American gray against Chinese silver. Every turn is political theater with real consequences. If one jet overreacts, headlines explode, insurance spikes, fishermen stay in port, and allies Japan, Australia, the Philippines watch to see if America still stands firm. The Poseidon's crew knows they're not just flying, they're representing. A hotline hums between Guam and Beijing, rarely friendly, always needed. Analysts flag radar activity across the Spratlys. Coordinated, not random. 12 seconds of lock-on could be a warning or a rehearsal for something bolder. The cost of caution is time. The cost of pride is war. Who's right here, the pilot defending open skies, or the interceptor guarding his coast? Tap 1 if you stand with the crew holding the line. Tap 9 if you think the intercept was fair warning. 1542. The Poseidon's radar shows two bright returns fast in closing. 20 meters in closing, the co-pilot warns. The Chinese fighters slide in tight, wingtips flashing. One rocks its wings, a warning. The other climbs, circling like a hawk. Inside, the US crew holds steady. The pilot eases the stick. Don't give them a reason, he mutters. The tacho watches the screen spikes, then a red light. Fire control radar. Lock-on confirmed. 12 seconds feel endless. The Poseidon banks right, dropping to break the beam. The AN divided by ALQ-240 hums alive, throwing static across the spectrum. The J-11 flare briefly, sensors struggling through the jam. Then a voice cuts in. Unidentified aircraft. You are approaching Chinese airspace. Leave immediately. Calm reply. This is a US Navy aircraft operating in international airspace. The standoff hangs. Engines growl. Switches click. One fighter suddenly banks across the Poseidon's nose. Vapor slicing the sky. 20 meters! The co-pilot shouts. The jet jolts in the wake. everyone grabs something solid. From Guam, controllers watch satellite feeds lighting up. Chinese radars on Fiery Cross and Woody Island have powered up. This isn't random, this is coordinated. The Poseidon's crew knows they're in a test how far China can push before the US blinks. Then new calls. Rivet joint on station. An RC-135 slides in, collecting signals. Two MQ-4C Tritons circle high, streaming live video to Indo-Pacom. Tracks multiply. If this escalates, the world will see it in real time. Checklists tighten oxygen. Countermeasures. Cameras rolling. ECM stays hot. They are the sharp edge of a distant policy. And today, that policy breathes. The mission commander slews the camera turret, locking time-stamped footage of the closest pass. The navigator calls fuel state and nearest divert fields. TCAS chirps, useless in this knife fight of proximity, but the rules stay clear. Hold heading, no sudden climbs, no lights that could be read as a flare. A wall of protocol stands between order and panic. Seconds tick by. One wrong move could light the region on fire. The pilot steadies his breath, eyes ahead. "We hold the line," he says. And for a moment, the sky freezes. Two nations locked in silence, neither willing to blink. 1548. The Poseidon steadies, but the fighters don't back off. One J-11 slides under its belly too close for comfort. The crew can see the pilot's helmet, a flash of mirrored visor through the glass. "He's right beneath us," the TACO says. The American jet holds altitude, engines droning steady, but the air feels electric, alive with risk. Then the Chinese radar lights up again. The Poseidon sensors show multiple sweeps, not just from the fighters now, but from the reefs below. Fiery Cross, Subi, Mischief, all pinging at once. "They're painting the entire corridor," the navigator mutters. The pilot grits his teeth. "They want us to flinch." Inside the fuselage, cameras roll. The mission commander logs each second bearing, range, altitude. He knows these tapes will end up in Pentagon briefings before dawn. On screen, the heat signature of the J-11 burns bright red. Every heartbeat feels louder. The Poseidon makes a slow turn south, textbook maneuver, but even that shift triggers reaction. Both Chinese jets follow, closing tighter. Far below, fishing boats scatter. A Philippine freighter alters course, not sure what's about to happen above. Civilian airliners reroute around the zone, their pilots watching blips dance on radar. To anyone in the region, it's obvious. This isn't training, it's pressure, deliberate and practiced. The American jet dips again, staying clear but defiant. Its crew keeps calm, knowing every move could be replayed frame by frame in Washington or Beijing. One wrong gesture could start the kind of headline no one wants to write. Then a call from command. "Hold position." RC-135 confirms multiple radar logs from surface sites. The implication is clear, ground radars are joining the game. The Poseidon's electronic warfare officer toggles frequencies, breaking noise into pulses, countering beams with bursts of static. The cabin hums like a storm. Outside, lightning flickers far off a storm front rolling in from the west. The fighters mirror Poseidon's path, shadow for shadow, move for move. This close, deterrence looks a lot like danger. If you were in that cockpit, would you keep holding your course or break away first? Tap 1 if you'd hold the line. Tap 9 if you'd pull out before it's too late. 1552. The Poseidon banks through light turbulence, leveling out until a new alert flashes amber. "Surface radar new source," the EWO says. Everyone leans in. The signal isn't from a reef, it's mobile, low, and fast. Moments later, a faint return appears on the scope. A vessel moving beneath the clouds. No ID, no beacon. "Could be a patrol craft," the navigator mutters. But that speed, no civilian. The realization hits. China's not just shadowing from the air. They're closing a box surface units aligned with fighters above, trapping the Poseidon between sky and sea. The J-11 split. One climbs, the other dives. Their formation tightens into a pincer. The Poseidon sits in the center, radar sweeps crossing its path. "They're choreographing this," the TACO says. The pilot steadies the yoke, every motion slow, deliberate. From Guam, analysts trace the feed's multiple radars syncing perfectly. "This isn't an intercept," one says. "It's a rehearsal." The mission commander nods. "And we're the live target." The Poseidon descends 100 feet, sliding into thicker clouds. The AN divided by ALQ 240 hums at full load, countering every pulse. Static floods the headsets. The smell of heated electronics fills the cabin. Every system strains under pressure. Below, the South China Sea glitters 3 fast boats carving silver wakes. Above, the J-11 mirror every move with eerie precision. For a heartbeat, sky and sea feel like closing jaws. Then a sharp tone screams through the cabin. Visual contact, small launch detected. The camera turret swings, locking onto a dark speck lifting from the water. A drone, small, fast, metallic. The threat has changed shape. 1555. The dark speck rises fast, its heat signature flares red on the display. It's climbing altitude 2,000 and rising. The crew braces. The drone levels off, heading straight for them. Unmanned vehicle, probable recon. The Iwu says, but his tone betrays doubt. The pilot banks left, dropping to stay clear, but the drone matches his move. The air feels thinner, the hum louder. "It's tracking us," the TACO says. Confirm visual. The camera feed locks on. The drone flashes silver, steady, purposeful. It's not drifting, it's hunting. Both J-11 dive, closing distance. Multiple contacts inbound, the co-pilot calls. The Poseidon's countermeasures spool up. Flares eject, bright against the haze. "Keep it defensive," the pilot snaps. Every sensor screams at once, radar locks, laser pings, static flooding the air. The drone suddenly bursts forward straight through the flare cloud, slicing between the Poseidon and the lead J-11. For 3 seconds, nobody breathes. The drone streaks past their nose and climbs vertically, then vanishes into cloud. The radar picture clears, no missile fired, but the intent is obvious. It was a simulated strike, a warning and a message. "Guam Control, we're disengaging south," the pilot radios. His voice is steady, but his hands shake. "Copy all. Continue egress." Outside, the fighters hold formation a moment longer, then peel away in perfect symmetry, their afterburners glowing orange in the clouds. The Poseidon steadies, the ocean stretching endless below. The cabin is silent, except for breathing. No one speaks. They know the footage will loop through Washington, Beijing, and every war room in between. One test complete and the next already writing itself. High above, sunlight pierces the clouds, sharp and cold. The drone's path fades on radar, but the tension lingers. One drill away from disaster, one warning away from war. In the ops center, analysts tag every frame. Lock timings, closure rates, comm transcripts. A rivet joint packet streams across the network, matching emissions to signatures from the reefs. Over open channels, airliners ask for new routes. Insurers take notes. The incident has weight. If you were watching this unfold in real time, whose message would you trust, the one defending the open sky or the one enforcing the line? Tap 1 if you'd call it restraint. Tap 9 if you'd call it provocation. Result: the Poseidon returns to base intact. But every second of the encounter is now evidence proof that the line between exercise and incident has nearly vanished. In the hangar, the crew steps off the ladder in silence. No one cheers. They all know what they just survived wasn't a skirmish, it was a rehearsal for the future. Within hours, reports hit the Pentagon and the Pacific Command. The data matches radar signatures from earlier Chinese gray zone maneuvers, same timing, same radar coding, same message. But this time, a drone joined the script. That small metallic speck may change every rulebook written about aerial safety in the region. In Beijing, official statements frame the intercept as defensive and professional. In Washington, the response is sharper, unprofessional and escalatory. Between the lines, both sides are saying the same thing: we're ready next time. The words are diplomatic, but the subtext burns. Allies weigh in. Tokyo calls for restraint. Canberra echoes freedom of navigation. And Manila demands transparency over radar locks near its claimed waters. The headlines flood every feed. Insurance indexes spike, shipping firms revise routes, and think tanks run war games overnight. One near miss becomes a global ripple. Back on Guam, The Poseidon sits in twilight, engines cooling. The crew watches the replay frame by frame, second by second, every heartbeat captured, every choice frozen in data. What they see isn't just a mission log. It's the anatomy of deterrence. One move measured, one move misread, and the balance tips. The ocean looks calm again, but beneath it, sensors hum, satellites shift, and strategies recalculate. Peace, for now, is measured not by trust, but by distance. If you had to draw that line yourself, how close is too close? Tap 1 if you believe deterrence keeps the peace. Tap 9 if you think it only delays the inevitable.